Please be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Welcome to the 2022 Investiture ceremony for the Order of Prince Edward Island. Her Honor, the Honourable Antoinette Perry, the Honourable Premier Dennis King, and inductees and other distinguished guests. My name is Gerard Greenan, and I am the chair of the Order of Prince Edward Island Advisory Council, and I am pleased to be your Master of Ceremonies for today's event. As we all know, Hurricane Fiona tried to keep us away from our ceremony today. However, we are a mighty bunch on this beautiful island, and Fiona's fury could not knock us over. You will notice that the programs are a week old, and we were unable to get a reprint complete prior to today's ceremony. As Her Honor's residence was not a suitable location for this year's ceremony, our great friends here at the Confederation Centre of the Arts were able to help make this event happen. Thank you very much to the Centre and their crew, including Steve Bellamy and Lisa Phillips and staff. Along with our special guests for today, I would like to introduce to you the members of our Advisory Council that are here with us today. Deanne Porter, Heather Mullen, Deanne Bernier-Ouellette, and B.J. Willis. Unable to attend this morning are the Chief Justice, Jim Gormley, Dan Campbell, Clerk of the Executive Council, Dr. Greg Keefe, President of UPEI, hopes to join us in a little while, and unable to here as well is Kent Scales. At this time, we acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is unceded Mi'kmaq territory. Epwick is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. Unfortunately, Elder Thurley Levi was not able to attend our ceremony today with the change in date. However, I offer the following prayer. I would like to invite you to please stand for an invocation and prayer for the Prince Edward Island Order of Merit. God, Great Spirit, Creator of the universe, we ask your blessing upon King Charles, our sovereign. We ask your blessing, too, upon the Chancellor and members of the Order of Prince Edward Island. We acknowledge with gratitude their standards of excellence, the gifts of their time and talents, and their devotion to the common good. Grant to all of us the desire and will to follow their example of generosity and service to others. We give thanks for the members of the Order who have departed this life and are at rest. May we fulfill our responsibilities as grateful and loyal citizens, mindful of the well-being of all your people. Amen. Please be seated. The Order of Prince Edward Island is the highest honor the province can bestow. It gives public recognition to individual islanders whose efforts and accomplishments have been exemplary. There are many citizens who make remarkable contributions to the social, economic, and cultural life of our province and its people, and the Order of Prince Edward Island is a unique opportunity to honor them. I would now invite Her Honor, the Chancellor of the Order of Prince Edward Island and the Lieutenant Governor of PEI, the Honourable Antoinette Perry, to please come forward and give us her remarks.
Thank you, Chair Gerard. Honourable Premier Dennis King and the Advisory Council, recipients, your invited guests, and all who are joining us online to witness your special ceremony, good afternoon, bonjour, que. As His Majesty's representative in Prince Edward Island, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the investiture ceremony for 3 outstanding islanders to the Order of Prince Edward Island. Bienvenue à la cérémonie d'investiture de 3 insulaires exceptionnels à l'Ordre de l'île du Prince-Édouard. In the spirit of meaningful reconciliation, I too wish to acknowledge our presence on the ancestral land of the Mi'kmaq people, whose culture, traditions, and spirituality I do respect. As Chancellor, I am honored and pleased to confer the Order of Prince Edward Island on Dr. John Wallace Andrew, on Mr. Gary Schneider, and Madame Claudette Thériault, for your significant contributions to the social, cultural, and economic life of our province and its residents, and for your attentive stewardship and conservation of our island's natural resources. I thank you. You are exemplary role models who have demonstrated outstanding leadership, citizenship, and excellence in your selfless and caring service to islanders. You, along with all members of the Order of PEI, truly demonstrate the island way of life through your generosity, volunteerism, and great sense of community. Il est très important de reconnaître nos citoyens remarquables qui, à leur manière individuelle et par leur générosité et leur engagement, font des contributions inestimables à l'avancement de leur communauté. Leur esprit de bénévolat mérite la reconnaissance et l'admiration de tous. On behalf of His Majesty, King Charles III, I congratulate you, distinguished recipients, as I welcome you into the prestigious Order of Prince Edward Island. You are about to become, officially, part of the recorded history of our province. I also wish to extend my thanks and best wishes to your families for their loving and caring support. I wish to express my gratitude to the nominators and presenters for your generosity and your thoughtfulness in presenting today's recipients. Thank you. Mr. Premier, thank you once again for your steadfast support and leadership in celebrating all islanders. I offer my sincere thanks and appreciation to Chair Gerard Greenan, to the members of the Advisory Council of the Order of Prince Edward Island, and your Secretary, Joanne Holden. I don't know, oh, she's back there now. I've seen her all over the place. For your interest and your dedication to this very worthy cause. Congratulations, best wishes, félicitations et mes meilleurs vœux. Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Walalia.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I invite our Premier, the Honourable Dennis King, to give us his remarks.
Well, thank you very much, Gerard. Good afternoon. Bonjour, Quay. Your Honor, it's a pleasure to be here with you as always. When I have the privilege and opportunity to attend a ceremony such as this, I spend a great deal of time trying to figure out how I would like to express my thoughts and views with the added pressure of knowing that I'm not just here to represent myself, but to represent the almost 170,000 citizens of our province. And there's also the added pressure, too, of being at an event with Her Honor, who is always so careful to choose her words and is so eloquent and fluent in both languages. And I always am impressed with how she is able to articulate her heartfelt words. So that only adds to the pressure. This is an important day of recognition, not just for the individuals who are so rightly being honored here today, their families and their network of friends and colleagues, but it's an important day for Prince Edward Island. The Order of PEI, as has been said, is the highest distinction that can be accorded to a citizen in our province in the name of the Crown. And added to the pressure of all that is the fact that it's been a very emotional stretch of days for us all here in Prince Edward Island. I mean, it seems like more than that, but in the past couple of weeks, we lost our dear sovereign, Queen Elizabeth II, after 70 years of service to us. Our citizens have faced the difficulties in the face of Hurricane Fiona, and that has been hard on the heart for everybody. Our province has been flipped upside down, and we're all trying to make our way back from that. And it's been a challenge for all of us. And as I was driving in today thinking about what I might say, the Anne Murray song came on my radio. I like to listen to country music. I sure could use a little good news today. And I thought it was fitting because this is some good news. As we gather here today, this is some good news. And it's an indication of the spirit of Prince Edward Island, of how we're able to continue to move forward in the face of difficulty. And so thank you to Chair Gerard, your committee, everybody who's been able to see through the difficult days and to be able to pull this off. It's probably matters more now than ever, so thank you very much for that. As has been said, and I've said here a couple of times that I've had the privilege to be here for the Order of PEI, some people think the Premier PEI is the hardest job. I'd have to think the hardest job is to be on the committee of the Order of PEI, trying to whittle down 3 recipients out of the list, which I can only imagine how long it is, for exemplary islanders who give so selflessly and give so much to PEI. So to all of you who are here and your colleagues who aren't here, thank you for that difficult task, and you've outdone yourself here again. So thank you very much. To John, to Gary, to Claudette, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for allowing us to celebrate with you and celebrate you and all that you have accomplished for this province and all that you have contributed to this province. John, who I got to know a little bit in the summer of 2019, always so kind and generous and a person of community. This is a very worthwhile and much appreciated effort for you and an award for you. To Gary, who I know first as a contributor to the Eastern Graphic for many years, where I used to work, my old stomping ground, the hero of McPhail's Woodlot and that whole system there, which I am, my home is in the eastern part of PEI, and I'll be as unbiased as I can be, but probably one of the most absolutely amazing, majestic places in the whole world. So. And Claudette, je m'appelle Denis Roy. We go back a long way with your ever-smiling face, as the face of the Congrès Mondial Acadien in 2019, who I think, again, this is my unqualified opinion perhaps, but I think what we brought together at the Congrès in 2019 will probably be down in history as the greatest cultural celebration in the history of PEI. So to all of you, 3 very, very amazing people. And now on the surface, there may not be a whole lot of direct links, but as always is the case in PEI, if you peel away the layers a little bit, you'll find that some common threads are exposed. When I look at the careers of John and Gary and Claudette, I see first and foremost a pride in place. I see a belief and a motivation to be part of something bigger than just yourself. I see a dedicated desire to make better the communities, our province, and for the people who are blessed to call it home. I see a group of people who are much more comfortable being in the back row, cheering on others who get their recognition. A group that would much rather just roll up their sleeves, do the work, and let others get the credit, which is another of the most common Prince Edward Island traits when you think about it, that understated nature that we have, that why fuss about me approach to life, that whole I'm just doing what needs to be done attitude. But in reality, there is something exceptional in your endeavors, something bigger than just a plaque or a pin or a medal. The collective sum of the kindness, the dedication, the commitment that you make to make this place a better place to live, work, and raise a family, not just for this generation, but for the generations to come. There's something incredible in that. And there's something, if you would allow us, and thank you for doing so, that needs to be recognized. It needs to be celebrated. I have long thought, when I take up a position in front of the podium, that I thought this long before I became Premier. I've long thought that we far too often mistake the great leaders as people in the positions of government or enterprise. Far too often we defer to those who fill those positions as the people who drive progress in communities large and small. And as I said, having filled that chair for 3.5 years, I know more than ever that being a leader is more than a chair or a title. It's the real leaders are those who toil in the areas of interest, who are focused only on making life a little bit better, a little bit easier, a little bit cleaner, a little bit more understandable, a little bit more fun, a little bit more accessible to people, their friends, their neighbors, their islanders. They do this without any desire for praise, and they do this in knowing that the truest satisfaction for them is to see the fruits of their labors and leadership enjoyed by others. So to John, to Gary, to Claudette, the contributions you have made to the social, cultural, and economic well-being of Prince Edward Island has been extensive. Your desire to make PEI better has done just that. You have brought joy and happiness to countless islanders and thousands of visitors. You have been an inspiration to so many. So on behalf of a grateful province, I say to you, thank you for a job well done, and you're very much deserving of this honor here today. Merci, thank you, Wellalin.
Thank you, Premier. We will now proceed with the investiture of the new members of the Order of Prince Edward Island for 2022. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Doug Curry to please come forward.
Thank you very much, Chair, Your Honor, Premier King, distinguished guests and families, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be here today to introduce Dr. John Andrew. Dr. Andrew is a fourth-generation resident of East Royalty who has led a distinguished career as a medical physicist in both Prince Edward Island and in Nova Scotia. During his career, he has published over 40 research papers, was on the executive of various national medical physics organizations for 14 years, rose to the rank of full professor at Dalhousie University, and was made a fellow of the Canadian Organization of Medical Physicists. Dr. Andrew has also been significantly engaged in watershed management issues in his community and various others, most notably having helped found the Wrights Creek Watershed Environmental Committee to restore the Wrights Creek watercourse. He also serves as the director of the Hillsborough River Association and the Hillsborough Area Watershed Co-op. Over the years, Dr. Andrew has received many accolades, including a Halifax Boy Scout Leader Award and Citizen Recognition Awards from both Halifax and Charlottetown. He also has a recipient of the Heritage Volunteer and Community in Bloom Award from the City of Charlottetown, a Heritage Activity Award from the Province of Prince Edward Island, and a Distinguished Alumni Award from the University of Prince Edward Island. Dr. Andrew and his wife, Dr. Christine Andrew, were the 2021 recipients of the Honourable J. Angus MacLean Natural Areas Award from the Island Nature Trust for outstanding contributions to natural area conservation. In 2020, Dr. Andrew was also the recipient of the Brookie Award by the Ellens Creek Watershed Group for demonstrating commitment and leadership in promoting urban watershed health. The award is named after the Brookie, an informal name for the brook trout, in recognition of the correlation between watershed health and the health of its brook trout population. He was instrumental in returning the creek and the pond to environmental health, which had desperately declined years earlier. And for this work alone and his leadership, our community and our province are extremely grateful. In 2019, Dr. Andrew and his wife Christine donated the 6.6-acre Andrews Pond north of the city of Charlottetown property. Dr. Andrew, his wife Christine, and the children, Dr. John Allen Andrew and Dr. Melissa Andrew, have shown outstanding leadership by protecting and preserving 12 acres of environmental historical significance known as the Andrews Mills property, located in East Royalty, by donating it to Holland College. The college will establish the John and Christine Andrews Centre of Excellence for Watershed Management. The property will be used for education, research, and activities that improve environmental and watershed sustainability. The facilities will be available for use by watershed groups, and the trails in the forest will continue to be available for use by the public. Individuals such as Dr. John Andrew ensure historical parcels of land such as Andrews Mills remain available for future generations to explore and enjoy. This will be a legacy that will serve to instill the very same ideals of environmental sustainability and conscientiousness in future generations that Dr. Andrew has committed his life and devoted his professional and personal life for. And for that, Holland College is so very appreciative and grateful. The Andrew family have been stewards of the land and water in East Royalty for generations. Dr. Andrew brings to his community a strong commitment to the health of individuals, the health of the environment, and ultimately the health of his community. Dr. Andrew's example of a better tomorrow, delivered by a personal dedication of care for our environment, is a lesson for each and every one of us. I commend Dr. Andrew and Christine and his family vision for a better future, which is a tribute to their commitment to the environment and to the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doug. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our inductee, Dr. John Andrew, as a worthy recipient of the 2022 Order of Prince Edward Island. Congratulations, Dr. Andrew. I would now like to invite Charles Duguay to please come forward and present our next inductee.
Son Honneur, Madame Antoinette Perry, our Lieutenant Governor, Honourable Dennis King, Premier Ministre de l'île du Prince-Édouard. I said Premier Ministre. Sounds better in French than just Premier. Monsieur Gerard Greenan, Chair of the Order of PEI Advisory Council, newly inducted members, distinguished guests, chers amis. Quel privilège et quel honneur d'être ici pour vous dire quelques mots de nature un peu plus personnelle par rapport à notre Claudette nationale. Before saying a few words about Claudette Thériault, I would like to thank the Order of PEI Advisory Council for acknowledging that Claudette's professional accomplishments and her community contribution were significant enough to be worthy of receiving the highest recognition awarded in this province. I would also like to congratulate Mr. Schneider and Dr. Andrew. Pour paraphraser Mme Jeanne Galland, lors de la remise du prix de l'Acadien-Acadienne de l'année, accordé lors de l'édition 2019 de la Foire agricole et du Festival acadien de la région évangéline, Claudette sait comment faire bouger une communauté pour l'amener à progresser. C'est une visionnaire qui a su, tant du côté professionnel que de par son engagement communautaire, semer et partager sa passion pour la culture acadienne et francophone. During her 32 years with the Public Service of Canada and the PEI Civil Service, Claudette has received many prestigious awards for her leadership, including the Public Service Award of Excellence, the Canadian Ambassador to France Award, and the Deputy Minister's Citation for Exceptional Leadership in the Organization of Commemorative Activities Abroad. Despite her busy professional schedule, Claudette still found time to give back to her beloved community by volunteering her time to sitting on different committees such as la Société nationale de l'Acadie, Société Saint-Thomas d'Aquin, which is now referred to as la Société acadienne et francophone de l'île, le comité organisateur de la finale des Jeux d'Acadie, le Festival acadien, and many more. Worth mentioning, during that busy time, she also had to battle with cancer and came out on top. She is a survivor, a fearless fighter who never quits and will take no for an answer. Following her well-fulfilled career, she could have taken some time to enjoy life and relax a bit, but instead, she decided to put her skill and her time toward the betterment of her cherished Francophone and Acadian community by chairing the organizing committee for the Congrès mondial acadien 2019. For those not familiar with this event, it is held every 5 years, and it is the biggest gathering of Acadian in the world. In the last 12 months of her 5 years mandate, her volunteer work basically became a full-time job. Claudette fut la première femme à occuper le poste de présidente du comité organisateur d'un congrès mondial acadien. La tâche était grande compte tenu que l'événement se déroulait dans 2 provinces, ici, à l'île du Prince-Édouard, et au Nouveau-Brunswick. Il va sans dire que chacun devait y trouver son compte. Ces qualités indéniables de leadership ont fait en sorte que tout le monde ramait dans la même direction et que personne n'essayait de tirer la couverte de son bord. Elle a investi temps et effort et elle a gagné son pari. En plus des retombées économiques inespérées, le Congrès a allumé la flamme acadienne insulaire et nous a permis de réaliser que nous aussi, nous étions capables non seulement de rêver, mais d'accomplir de grandes choses. Claudette would readily tell you that she wasn't alone and she had a team with her on the organizing committee. But being on the committee myself, I can attest to the fact that she was the heart and soul, the driving force, and the face of the Congrès mondial acadien. My notes say that I am confident that Premier King who participated in some of the event, both here and in New Brunswick, would agree with me, but having heard him before, I think he does agree with me. Her work did not go unnoticed, as she was awarded in 2019 the Léger Como Medal, which is the highest recognition given by la Société Nationale de l'Acadie. She was also recognized by the Francophone press as one of the most influential Francophone personalities, not on the island, but in Canada. Pour avoir côtoyé Claudette de près pendant 5 ans, en étant sur le comité organisateur du CMA 2019, j'ai été en mesure de constater son attachement à ses origines acadiennes, sa belle région évangéline, sa fidélité à l'égard de ses amis, ainsi que son amour pour ses frères, ses sœurs, son mari Thériault et leur fils Rémi. Let it be known that her contribution to the advancement of her community in the province of PEI does not end with this prestigious recognition. She has accepted an interim position with the senior nursing home, Le Chez Nous, to bring back some stability to the establishment. And as this is not enough, she is volunteering for the 2023 Games Services Committee for the Canada Winter Game that PEI will be hosting from February 18 to March 5th. Claudette est fière de ses origines acadiennes. Elle est douée pour rassembler les gens et elle emmène l'Acadie partout où elle va, que ce soit au Canada ou sur la scène internationale. Elle n'a jamais reculé devant un défi, quelle qu'en soit l'ampleur, et je dois même ajouter que plus le défi est grand, plus vous avez de chance de convaincre Claudette de vous aider. Cette Acadienne de la belle région évangéline a parcouru tout un chemin et mérite amplement de recevoir l'Ordre de l'île du Prince-Édouard 2022. Merci.
Merci, Charles. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our next inductee, Madame Claudette Thériault, as a worthy recipient of the 2022 Order of Prince Edward Island. Congratulations, Claudette. I would now like to invite to the podium Ms. Marianne Bowden to please come forward to present our next inductee.
Your Honor, Mr. Premier, Mr. Chair, and guests. I've known Gary Schneider for almost 35 years. We met when he was asked to represent Prince Edward Island's environmental stakeholders in early consultations regarding the formulation of the Canadian Environmental Assessment Act in the early 1990s. I was at West at the time, had gone down the road for employment, and I was missing home. I picked out Gary a mile away when he walked into this ritzy Ottawa hotel. There were representatives from academia, First Nations, government, major industry like the Canadian petroleum producers. And in walked this tall, lean, wire-rimmed glassed, bearded, pin-straight hair with a leather strap tied at the back, and I knew it was Gary. Some things never change. And in Gary's case, that is a wonderful thing. In those meetings, every group, council, roundtable, consultation, and classroom that has followed since those early days, Gary has been a champion for the protection of forest and ecosystems in PEI. I invite you to read his curriculum vitae, as it were, in your program. Many of us involved in the environmental movement have had to step back from time to time because it often seems as if you're beating a head against a brick wall and your head gets sore. Not Gary. He has stepped up to advocate for legislation, to promote education, and to talk the talk and walk the walk to advance the cause on the ground through individual landowners, groups, and his passion project, MacPhail's Woods. Why? Because as Gary said so many times, this is important stuff. Gary has studied and he has worked hard, and in my opinion, nobody knows the forests of PEI like Gary Schneider does. He enters every situation with a smile and an open heart, but he is unwavering in his commitment to protect the environment. He's tough, but he is a gentleman and a kind man. He does not back down, but he will reach out to others with different views to try and reach mutually positive results for the environment and PEI's forest. In Charlottetown, often on the record as well as off, government officials mention the difference that Gary himself has made to move the needle and to ensure consultative approaches to issues, tougher legislation, better environmental practices, and better outcomes for PEI's environment. Fiona has devastated both urban and rural forest landscapes. The yet-to-be-released State of the Forest 2020 reports holds more devastating news regarding the loss of our precious resource. For as long as I have known Gary, he has spoken on behalf of the trees, and now we hear more and more people grieving the loss of personal friends in the forest. He shares his passion and his message with children, government, fellow environmentalists, seniors, industry, and anybody who listens to CBC. Gary told me and his fellow nominators, Chris Ortenberger and Ann Wheatley, that he was extremely honored, but surprised to receive this award because I never thought they would give it to a guy like me. Well, the committee has chosen well, and I thank you. Some would argue he is a thorn in the side, a pebble in the shoe, a pain in the patooey in his relentless efforts to push the environmental agenda. Well, maybe so. But he is also a man of impeccable integrity. He has a vast knowledge which he shares of this province's natural environment. He is the heart of MacPhail's Woods. He is an educator, a family man, and a forest hero. And all of this is a really good thing because he won't stop. And that's because, as Gary says, this is important stuff. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Maria. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our next inductee, Mr. Gary Schneider, as the most worthy recipient of the 2022 Order of Prince Edward Island. Congratulations, Gary. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Order of Prince Edward Island Advisory Council, I would like to congratulate all of today's recipients, to the prestigious 2022 Order of Prince Edward Island. Please give them a round of applause. Well, following the official ceremony, recipients will have the opportunity to get family portraits up front here. This brings a close to the official part of today's ceremony, and we encourage you to please join us for a reception here with some light refreshments. Thank you for attending this year's investiture ceremony, and we would also like to provide special thanks to our pianist, Ms. Jacqueline Sorensen, along with Her Honor's staff, and of course, the staff of the Confederation Centre of the Arts. Also, a special thank you to our audiovisual team and our photographer, Catherine Drake. Would you please rise for the departure of Her Honor and the distinguished guests. Thank you again and for attending, and please join us, Her Honor and the Premier, for the reception. Have a good